Hello, everyone. I will start. Bless you, Canva, because all these videos were made now.
Artists are looking at it like, "Ooh, production value."
I saw your face. I wanted to say that yes, that's all done by me.
The music, all that animation, and then the number of faces over there.
Yeah, I put all the people together and it's not even finished. So, hi guys, this is Andrea and we are here with Nigesh. This was an unusual starting, but I always like to start with something unexpected. So, we were playing some videos that were showcasing already the almost 400 people, speakers, and individuals who have been supporting this initiative by me for the last 3 years. And it has been a crazy ride. We were just talking with Nigesh about it.
Yep.
And I think it's quite close to your topic about the tipping point. I feel that it will happen. I feel that I'm there. So I am working a lot so that we can all get somewhere very good and all together we can make it. So I'm really happy to have you here, Nigesh. How are you?
I'm good. I would like to say that I'm completely relaxed, but no, I'm nervous because I wonder what Andrea is going to ask me. And it's also been a rather busy period as well for overall myself and everybody in the company and the team as well. Busy is good. Looking forward to 2023. There's some very interesting things that we're working towards for 2023. So I think it's sort of rebirthing new energy, I would call it.
Yeah, let's renew. I think everyone needs that new energies, new refreshments, some retreats without the phones and computers, and just reconnecting with ourselves and all the spirituality. I think we are missing on that. So today the topic is
sorry. I know you're mentioning about the whole phones and things like. Today I was out on a few meetings and I was actually telling myself, it's nice to actually go out and go for these meetings. There is the time in between where I get to like relax my mind before I go in and meet somebody, versus like if you're on like say a virtual call, it's one after another after another after another. So I think that creates some good intentionality when you're out there in the world meeting people.
Yeah, I love this, and I love this kind of thoughtfulness and awareness that we can practice ourselves to have a little bit of time for ourselves, to book a little bit of time in our calendars, just to be by ourselves or be out with the people. I love the fact that with many people who I haven't met before from the Hubbers community, from the community of the Global Empowerment Hub, we met for the first time, and they met for the first time, and it's just so nice to see it. Someone was telling it to me that, oh, these guys have never met before, but they are hugging each other like school friends or knowing each other for a long time. Because I don't believe that online you cannot build great relationships. You can it takes much more time. It takes a lot of effort, much more than offline, but you can make that happen. It was the proof that after 3 years people met, and it was crazy.
Yep. All right, so what are we talking
nice
about?
To have you here. Yes, let's start our topic today. You are starting the program of the night, so we are here with you talking about innovating beyond the tipping point. That is something that we will talk about today, and then after that we will have a very good innovator example, because Junaid Ahmed is coming showing his studio, so that will be crazy. And then we have a panel discussion about business growth. So tell us a little bit more about your topic, your title. What were you thinking when you were putting this together? What was in your mind? Why innovating beyond the tipping point?
Right. So maybe I'll give a little bit of background of where I'm coming from when I kind of put this topic in. So I'm a business owner right now of Nicole. So great that Nicole's one of the partners here. But I'm a business owner of Nicole, not where I originally started. I did have my own businesses before as well, but I think it's the story of where we initially thought we were going to go with it, and then where we are right now. Even right now, how it's changing. So to give you an example of that is when we started, we thought, oh, this is going to be simple. This is just, there needs to be so for everyone out there, Nicole NICO stands for Needs-Based Contextual Learning. It's actually a digital tool, but we have now morphed it into a blended learning solution. So that's the quick TLDR for that. But
Wait a
initially,
little bit, Nigesh. I just want to make sure that the audio is very good because people cannot hear you if you move too much. So I
oh,
also
okay.
love to dance, but because you're moving too much, we don't hear what Nicole was.
I shall get closer to the mic.
Better.
Does my voice sound like as if it's a
Yes,
deep
let's do a
radio
rap
voice?
sound. Rap song.
Okay, so I mentioned Nicole is needs-based contextual learning, right? So that's what it stands for. Nicole initially, when we brought Nicole in, this was back in 2019. 2019 when we brought it, and the story then was for the Malaysian space. For the Malaysian space, learning, especially adult learning, was typically done physically with no aid of any digital tool at all, and it's not using all the benefits that digital tools can bring. So we thought, hey, great. I mean, we've got this tool here, and now it's very different. You know, it's something that we can actually use. We can craft this into something really unique, where it's not just a standard LMS, or LMS stands for Learning Management System, or campus management system. It's not one of those typical one. It feels like as if this is a social media for learning, and you can make it like a Netflix for learning. Easy. All right, let's bring that in. So we started we started the
Easy,
process
easy,
of,
just like that.
yeah. So it was one of those kind of and this goes back to our CEO, like the group CEO, which is Roshan, right? He's like, okay,
Yes,
there's an
our
idea that
friend.
can work. Whether he's figured it out fully or not, let's just try it. So when we brought it in, and we started crafting it towards the app that we wanted it to be, then we went out in the market and we wanted to start stepping into the market. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, at that point when we've done all the tech and legwork, and when we were stepping into the market, that's when COVID hit. So that was the period of time where we were figuring out, okay, how are we going to do this? And just to give an idea, yeah, to everybody, that at that point I wasn't part of Nicole just yet. At that point, I was still part of the Leadonomics group itself, and I was leading operations for the adult learning side, or the adult consultancy side. And Nicole was something that was about to come my way, but this story kind of ties in when we're talking about innovating and innovating beyond the tipping point. So when the pandemic hit and we were all going to go into lockdown, like full lockdown, I think it's interesting the sequence of events that happened, and how not just me, but the team I was with chose to work on it and create something. So the first thing was the day that we were about to go into lockdown. Remember this, 18 March, we were all in the office, we were cleaning things up and getting ready to go. And then 10 a.m. in the morning, Roshan, again, he comes in and he's like, you know what, we've got
I
nothing. We
had an
can't do
idea.
anything.
I had a
Yeah,
dream.
got an idea. Exactly. We've got nothing. We can't do anything for this next. At that point, we thought 2 weeks. So we need to figure out something. We need to do something. Okay. So he's just thought of like, what if we are able to provide 32 days, and every day, 2 times a day, some form of learning, 1 hour, different speakers from on different topics to people, and this is with collaboration with HRDF or HRDC, HRD Corp, which is in Malaysia,
Mhm.
and people could just log on for free. I'm like, okay, interesting idea, but um, we have no idea how we're going to do this and all that. And at that point, he was just like, I believe we can figure it out. I know we can figure it out. I'm like, okay, fine. And this is where, instead of just saying no, it's impossible, this is where that whole creative mindset, the creation mindset comes in. Um, got the team together, and I remember the team sitting down, brainstorming, contacting people, asking different speakers, trainers, everybody, and trying to get them like each day. Right, we kind of created this whole journey, 32 days. There's 2 topics each day, and we've got all the people. Actually, on that day, we got all the people. We got everybody ready for that 32 days. We haven't figured out how we can do it online, but
Yeah.
we got everybody. And I remember being the last few leaving the office and locking everything in the office before we went on lockdown. And after that was this iterative process where, as we were getting ready to launch it, and HRDC was good with it and all that. As we were getting ready to launch it, we were also figuring out how to do all these online web tools and virtual tools, and we had zero, like very little knowledge of how to do it back then, and we had to figure it out. And we were creating the processes as we move along, like how are we actually going to manage this, how do we trigger the schedules, get people in, all these things we were figuring out as we went along. Now I'm telling this story because after that, that became a catalyst for the next step, because that kind of showed that we could actually virtualize things that typically was in person.
Mm-hmm.
And then we decided to pour a little bit more effort to it, and that's where I jumped, because since I was able to do this with the team, um, there was a need in Leadernomics to actually create virtual solutions, because at that point, um, the pandemic was still going on. We're still in lockdown. We still haven't come out of lockdown yet. So we thought, okay, let's start virtualizing all our solutions. So we formed this um, global virtual products. Yes, GVP,
Mm-hmm.
global virtual products. So we started doing that virtualizing process of all our in-person trainings or in-person solutions. And we went through that process. We actually did quite a lot of it, and then that got carried on.
Within your
So
company, within Leaderonomics, you are
within
transforming
Leadernomics,
everything right now. Okay.
yeah, I mean, not only me. I mean, this is
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean, I'm
leading a
just
team.
explaining like how the
Yeah,
situation is, like a
yeah,
company is themselves walking a talk and
correct,
uh,
correct,
internalizing the idea by making the people actually do the trainings
correct,
online, right?
correct. So then what that did was that started showing us possibilities beyond just doing these kind of conferences, streaming tools, these kind of things. How do we then merge that together with tech tools like Nicole, like an
Mm-hmm.
LXP? How do we actually start creating a blend? How do we make the experience a lot more fruitful, a lot more full? We have different kind of frameworks, these blended frameworks that started being created. That was the genesis point, and this was in 2020 when we really started creating it. And that's when then I jumped to Nicole, and we actually whatever created from before. Remember, we started with just 32 days, 2 topics a day, which is 1 hour webinars, if you want to call it. That gave us the catalyst for the next step, which is virtualizing our all our existing products. That gave us a catalyst for the next, which is, oh, finally now we have a way how to use Nicole differently. Because we realize if we were to go to the market with just a app or a tool, there's a lot of challenges to actually launch an app within the market. So then that kind of gave us the, okay, let's start going into the market with these things. And again, we tried something which didn't
Mm-hmm.
work at that point, because we thought that, hey, people would want this. Let's try to go for it. Let's try to go for it and target 100,000 users on Nicole by March of 2021. A bit too far ago, but there were a lot of great ideas there. And those ideas then created the next morph genesis for Nicole, which was, okay, finally we have defined or understood what this blended framework is and how we can speak to people about it. That moved into 2022 this year. And then this year, it was more of, okay, really, what is the opportunity here? And how can we then take this blended learning and kind of use it in different spaces? And is Nicole all of what we thought it could be? Could it be more? Could we build a little bit more? Could it make it a bit more robust? How more can we look at it differently?
Mm-hmm.
Hence, now we're moving into 2023. This is where we started realizing that, okay, this is working. And when I say tipping point is when you have experimented on something, you've iterated on that something, and you're starting to see that, okay, if before, from a sales standpoint, you're going out, you're sourcing, you're talking, you're sourcing, you're talking, and no one's biting. And then you start seeing your conversion rate kind of flip the other way around. So you're starting to see from 20% going up to 30%, going up to 40%. That's kind of starting to tell you that, okay, great. It shows that that's working. I've
The
done my
direction
proof
is
of,
good.
yeah, my proof of concept is done. This is validating it. Therefore, it's working. Great. That means what we need to do with that is leverage and make it a lot more better. But what in there can be spinned off to do something new? And this is where we are right now. So think of whatever I spoke to you about as just learning for adults. But from there were certain interesting use cases we kind of show that we can actually use learning in the community space. Example, like something what we're doing here with this whole Global Empowerment Summit, right? But we make it continuous. We make it something that everyone can use, continuously engage. So beyond, let's say, doing a 2-day event, you can continue to engage with people. You can have different communities serving different purposes. You have communities that can be there to empower people towards digitalization and digital learning. Can be communities for accelerators, can be community for innovation hubs, different communities, but all centered around learning. And these
Mm-hmm.
communities also can act as organizational hubs as well, for knowledge centers as well. So we then thought that, look, this community piece by itself is a interesting business. So all right, let's see if we can do something about this, and that's what we're doing right now. And then comes the third part. The third part is the tech. The tech itself, we see an opportunity, and we're now starting to look into that and see, okay, what can we try out here? What can we build here? So this innovating process is always moving, always you're at it. You'll never end. I think anyone who feels like I'm going to innovate to a point that I got a product ready and it's out there, I think, Andrea, you know this as well, right? You thought maybe, okay, the first version of GES was it. Nah, the next year you kind of did something else. This year you're doing something else. Like you're
Well, I have a
always,
10 years plan, so I see how it will look like in 10
there you
years.
go. You'll say 10-year plan. So that's the other interesting thing as well. You would say that, okay, it's a 5-year plan, but when you're reaching near that 5-year, you kind of like,
There is still
wait a minute.
something to innovate.
Exactly. There's more that you can do. So we thought that it was going to be a plan up to like the current phase is going to be a plan up to say 2026. That was the current phase plan. But this constant innovation and finding different points where it tips over and tells you that, okay, this is going to work. So therefore, you need to continue doing this so that you'll reach a point. Like if you were to draw a chart, right,
Mhm.
of your revenue, let's say, and you'll see the revenue going up, going up, and then you suddenly see there's this little curve and it just shoots up. Usually we call that the tipping point, right?
Mhm.
But that process of it turning, that validation phase, right? So that's where you need to already identify that the tipping point is coming. So you need to really,
There.
whatever you've innovated for this
Mm.
part of it, really maximize it so that you can push it past that tipping point. But there are interesting pieces in there where it may muddle the focus of what you're going to do here. Take that out and try something different with that, because that could give you your next tipping point. Because you're going to, anything that shoots up, and it's always a bell curve thing that everyone talks about, it shoots up, it's going to drop, it's going to drop back again for sure. How do you keep that? Yeah, it'll drop a little bit but go up again, drop a little bit and go up again. So how do you keep that going? It's noticing that every time you're in that innovative process, there are a lot of things you innovate. There's a lot of things you create. You will end up focusing primarily on one thing. And when you reach that point and it validates itself, you know you want to maximize focus on that. But don't forget the things that you discovered as well.
Mhm.
Um, Ideas that didn't work the way you thought it's going to work could actually be real good ideas that you can take with a lot of learnings and make it something that you can focus on in the future.
I love
So,
this thought process actually, because we can use this in any part of our lives, because we are
mm,
talking about the system that you are actually building, but
yeah.
this can be implemented in anything. Like
Yeah.
it can be implemented in the stock exchange market, on the
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin market, on the
Mm-hmm.
on life, in your business, in your career. There's
Mm-hmm.
always so many things that you can take, and you can be like a sponge and take it next to you, and
Yeah.
you see which wave, which timing you can just push it a little bit more, and figure out how you can accelerate it. It's an exciting process. I think that's something that people can thrive on, that you are really there and you really see that it will happen, and then you push it a little bit more and then it happened, but then you
Yeah.
see already what can come next, and then it's like, okay, there is another hill, I want to go
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah.
And then it's like skiing over the different heights. It's really
Yeah.
interesting.
I think that one thing that you mentioned there, right, that hill to hill kind of thing that we're talking about. So there's an important lesson that I learned personally as well. And again, I had to remind myself in recent time about that. It's good to be passionate about the process that you're in as you're building something. It's good to be passionate about that. It's fine that you are at a point in love with the idea of what the outcome is going to be. But like passion, like love, it can change. So don't be too attached to it that you resist a different way of looking at it and you get too stuck in just looking at it in one way. I had to remind myself of that because of course in my team as well, there's myself and the other senior leaders as well, and sometimes I get challenged, and here am I, like I've thought of this idea, like I've spinned it this way, that way, this way, that way. I'm like, okay, we can do these things, and then someone just tells me like, maybe that's not the focus we need to be on. But
Someone has to remind you that, okay, maybe we have another focus.
yeah, so it is. But if you don't get too attached to it, so this is what happened to me when I reminded myself not to be too attached to it. What I ended up finding out was, wait a minute, I didn't have to think it as a black and white, because that's what usually comes to mind, right? When someone challenges your idea, you immediately go into this black and white thing. It is, would this idea work? Would this idea not work? Right? But when you start thinking about it, it's not this black and white. It is, this still can work, but maybe in a different way. But there's some good in what was suggested there, and I can pull out something and do with that. So this is where the next skill comes. So if you allow yourself to, yes, be passionate about it, yes, be in love with what you're doing and what you're going to achieve, but don't get too attached to it, because, or remind yourself not to get too attached to it, because when a new idea comes along, listen to it and see where that can be used. And what anchors you, I think, even though as fluffy as this is going to sound, in business, of course, and especially when we're talking about business, digital transformation, all that kind of thing, of course, all businesses need what? Money, right? Revenue. But money comes when value is given. So if you are constantly focusing on where can I add the value, you be value driven. Where can I add the value? Where can I add the value? How can I improve this value that I'm giving? Even if I think in terms of what is the unique proposition of this particular innovation that I'm creating right now, that unique proposition you're looking for is actually what is the value that this is really giving that someone has not experienced before. Now, if you keep thinking in that terms, you will keep abreast with whatever that's happening when they say in the market is exactly what people want. And that by itself drives you to keep on accepting new ideas and thinking how to use those new ideas.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a very important point there. Like, it's the value that people value, right? It's not the value that you value, because you may think that, okay, this is an amazing idea, you just love it and you're just so passionate about it. But if you don't test it and the market says, no, I don't value it, you just stuck with an idea that no one will buy at the end.
Yeah.
So we have to also think about sustainability and self-sustainable business. So that comes to the point that what you said, that you were fortunate enough to test this system already in your internal organization, and after that, when you did it, you saw some kind of ways of innovating, and then you put it out on the outside market, and then other innovation ideas came in. So you did the inside-outside testing, which is very valuable.
Exactly, and I think if I'm pronouncing it right, Al Chen on Facebook mentioned that implementation results will be different to our planning and goal setting. I think this is something along the lines of what you mentioned there, Andrea, which is you have to ask the question why, right? Yes, the results, I think that's the other thing, right? If you are doing something already expecting a result, be prepared, and I'm telling everybody this, be prepared to be disappointed. Because if you are already, like, you're about to start doing something and you think, okay, this is going to get me that, it's going to achieve this, it's going to do this, I'm going to experience that. Can I ask that person, like, if you have a crystal ball that I can borrow? Because I would really love that. Nobody knows the outcome. You have no control on the consequence. You got no control on the outcome. You can do your best. You can take the actions right now. But when the outcome comes, high chance it's going to be different, 40% different to what you thought that it was going to be. And 40% is a big amount. You got to ask the question why. Like, why was it different? Because that is where that a key to that innovation is. When you ask why did it work well, 60% of it worked well, and the 40% of it didn't work out the way that I thought it was going to work out. And that gives you the lesson to do the next adjustment. So it's important. I think that's a good point from Al, but ask the question, why didn't it not happen according to a plan we had and a goal we had? Sure, we had a direction, but I know it's not going to turn out that way, but I got to ask the question, why?
It's really, really interesting conversation. Just for those who are joining us later, we are talking about tipping points and innovation and how you can push it a little bit further and how you get inspired on the way, and then how this plan is just innovating and changing all along the way. And we were talking about it, that it's kind of something that is inspired by other people who are trying out a service. It's inspired by the inside people who are inside who are the innovators themselves. And then Alchan was saying that the implementation results will be different from the planning and the goal setting. And we were talking about that point. And now he's saying sometimes both shoots down your ideas, but you may be adamant that the idea will come in millions. Therefore, you will turn away and feel disappointed. Well, that can happen also in real life.
It can, and I have to say that even depending on your space, right? If you are an entrepreneur, that means you're in an organization and you are creating within an organization, right? And that's a possibility that can happen. And of course, it's good to understand why, because a boss may say no. Sure, there's some who are the types which, because I said no, that's why. But I think most of the time there's really a reasoning behind it. But once you understand that reasoning, I think that's the powerful part. And that's something that I'm trying very hard to do with the team in the organization that the business organization I lead right now. I would like them to know everything that is happening, from even numbers, figures, business, health, all those things. Why? Because that informs them why I'm making some of the decisions I'm making. But the counter side to that is that also informs them that if they have an idea and to my perspective, I'm shooting it down or I'm saying no right now, and they really believe that, you know what, Nigesh got it wrong. Sure, I can't convince him now, but I'm going to go and try it anyways, show that it
Somewhere
works, and
else.
come back again. And that's fine. That's fine, because you know what? Sure, there are people who don't like to be proven wrong, but you know what's better than being proven wrong? You show them that, look, this will make you look really good, and this makes the business a lot more money, and this adds a lot more value to people. This idea works. I think that's a lot better. It's one of those philosophies of it's okay to ask forgiveness later as long as you've done something good.
Love that point. Love that point. And you mentioned that you cannot stay more than 8:30, so I don't want to spread your time out. But I would ask for one last thing, like, what makes the difference between an innovator mindset and someone who is stuck and who is just like, cannot get around and cannot get the creativity? So what do you think, what makes a difference?
So I think I'll be talking about this in one of our interviews as well. But remember this question, and this is a question I live by, and this is what for me is the innovator mindset. I'm sure people are going to talk about, yes, there's this design thinking framework and creative thinking, all that kind of thing. For me, it distills down to this one question I keep on asking myself: what else? That question. So whenever I'm faced with any situation, or I'm faced with any ideas, or even if I have a good idea, I always keep on asking this question: what else? What else can I do? What else? Or which other approach can I take? Keep on asking what else, what else, what else, what else. I know it may sound a little crazy, but that helps you build that habit for not just sitting on something and being comfortable with it. You immediately will start spotting opportunities as they appear, because sure, the starting process, when you're building that habit, you got to be intentional and you feel like this is going nowhere. But when you keep on doing it, it suddenly becomes intrinsic. It just happens without you even thinking about it. And it's like your eyes open up, or your third eye open up, and you can suddenly see all these different opportunities in front of you. So it's a habit building thing. So keep on asking what else.
What else? So we will close with this sentence, looking at this women startup competition tomorrow, because a lot of people were coming, and we will have a live pitching, and we were talking about this, like what makes the difference between someone who is applying and someone who is staying at home, and thinking that sharing my idea makes me vulnerable because other people will make my idea true. So yeah,
Maybe I'll share this last thing before we say goodbye. If you are getting into a space, let's say anybody who starts a business, right? You're getting into a space with an IP or an idea, right? Because it's different. That's why you're going to get into a business. But if you're getting into it already thinking somebody is going to steal your idea or somebody's going to take your idea, I'll tell you, don't get into business. Don't. Because if you are worried about a competition even before you get going, because you don't have enough awareness of whatever you're going to do just yet, and you're creating that fear in you, and what you end up doing is someone may come along and may say that this is an opportunity to collaborate and make this better, partner and make this better, and you will see it as, do I want to share this with that person?
yeah.
And there you go, you lost an opportunity.
Amazing shares. I will let you go to your family, and thank you so much for being with us again. And we will see you every week, because
Yes.
we have a special collaboration. Do check out Nicole, how you write Nicole. Let me just show the banner here below. You will see an Ecole. Nicole is here. So just check out Nicole, and it's an amazing platform for communities and for learning, and it's still growing and innovating after the tipping point. So thank you so much, Nigesh, and have an amazing night, and see you next week.
All right. Take care, Andrea, and everybody else out there on GS.
Yes.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much for being here.
Bye-bye.
I will stay on the cameras because we still have time, so I will show you around, and I will also put a video on. Let's just do a video before we continue. Hello. So here we are again. And before we are starting the next session, we have a little bit of time. So I would like to ask you to play a little bit, because we have our game on. With Shiv, we created a game that is going on for the 5 weeks of the summit, from the beginning until the end. So what you can do is you can join me and just put your email addresses into this quiz, and then you can also win something if you answer those questions. So what I will do is I just will share my screen, and then you can see how it looks like. Basically, I just want to show you the platform itself. Very simple. You go to this link that I will share very, very soon into the comments. And then once you are inside this link, then you just have to put your email address here. And it's a very nice platform. It will ask you 5 questions. It is the choices questions, so you even just have to choose from the choices. And then once you answer, your points will be collected. But make sure every single time when you play with us throughout the weekends that you are putting the same email address, so that your points are collecting after each other. So this is a game that is going on all the 5 weeks long, and we will announce the winner on the 27th of August. The winner will win $1,500 worth of coaching, and it's a team coaching, a group coaching. You will get to know details later, but start to play. We will give additional questions every Friday and Saturday of the week, so you will have a lot of fun. If you are watching our sessions, you can also watch them back and answer all the questions. So that's for the game. I will quickly share with you the links for the game, and then after that I will share with you something else that I brought to here while we are having Junaid Ahmed in the room, who will share more about technology, and he will also show you his studio, which is kind of crazy. So please stick with us. And from 9 p.m. he will come and he will show the studio. Until he's here, I have something for you, some surprise, because I was looking at the different sessions that we had earlier, and I have some sessions which were amazing. And it was 3 years ago. This year is kind of like a celebration of the summit. So I wanted to make it sure that we are celebrating how it started, and you can also see where it started and where it grew. So I will just share something with you that it was already presented before at the first summit. And I would like you to just watch this video, Empowering Story, again. And let me just fix the background, and then we can go with that. All right, so I will start the video. Enjoy. It's an empowering story of one of our speakers that you will recognize on this video.
Okay, so I literally had no voice coming into this world. I was a miracle baby, born a pound and a half. I wasn't supposed to live. So I was fighting for every breath to just make it into the world and find my voice. Taking that further, I grew up with a neurological disorder called Tourette's syndrome, which are uncontrollable tics and twitches. So I was bullied a lot as a kid. It definitely was very hard for me to find my voice. But as I grew older and the years went on, I started to come across that video on LinkedIn. Actually had a really big impact on me in finding my voice and really voice your vibe coming to Bay. But I always say people have a voice and a story that matters, and that your voice and story can positively affect and impact and inspire another human being by showing up and sharing you and your voice. And I did that. And it was nerve-wracking for me. But when I did, all the love, support, and encouragement that I got, it really changed my life and allowed me to be my whole self in ways that I hadn't been throughout my entire life. Yeah, my very first video on LinkedIn was absolutely that moment. I was terrified to do it. It was the first time that I actually shared my life story in the world of business, but let alone in the world in general. At that time, in front of 500 million people. And I was just all the worried about what people would think, what would they say, because no one knew any of these things about me. And so as I had shared it, all the love, support, and encouragement that I got, it made me for the first time not look at myself as being weird and different in a bad way, and realizing that I had gifts and superpowers that allowed me to share my story with others, to be able to help them in ways I never could have imagined. And my why is to inspire one person a day. And I've been told I do that. And by sharing my story, I've been able to help so many. So that definitely was a life-changing moment for me. Wow. It's interesting that you asked that, because I had been at one of the world's largest video conference, VidCon, 2 years ago, and they had this pop-up that Comcast was doing. And you walked into this very dark room that was split in two directions. And one was, you hold a sign, it says Generation Change, and what do you stand for? And I said, voiceless and differently abled. The other one was a video interview, lights, camera, action. It was really scary, actually. And I got in front of the camera, and they asked a very similar question, although it was like my 13-year-old self or something. And I would say the same thing. And I felt like I was in that body again at the height of my Tourette's, with all these tics and twitches that were uncontrollable. And I said that you matter, and that you have a voice, and that you have a story, and that you're loved. And I think it's easy for us to forget about those things, right? It's easiest, especially in these times where we're shackled to our homes, if you will, right? We're sheltered in place, and we can't physically be with people. I love hugging people. We can't do that. I haven't hugged people outside of my home for 6 months. And I think knowing that you can do that, you can reach people, you can connect, and it's you're just a click away from a conversation, just like we are, right? And being able to have that love boomerang reach people. So I think it's know that you matter, and know that you're loved, and know that you have a voice and a story, and know that by sharing that, it allows you to connect with people in ways you never thought were possible. So in these times more than ever, especially in a pandemic, to share, to show up, to be you. It's okay to be vulnerable. and know that we're all living with our chest cracked open and our hearts beating wide, and that's where we should all be living right now. And whatever you're feeling is okay, and to express that. And if you're not feeling okay, express that and know that that's okay. If you're feeling happy, great, express that and be happy. But know that anything you're feeling is okay, and we're all kind of just growing through this experience together. Yes, I am. This is my empowered voice.
I just love this video, and we have many empowering stories like this. And I just announced this year that we will write all these stories in a book. So next year, we are launching a book by the Global Empowerment Hub from the speakers who were participating with us. And this will be something very new. We have never done it. And yeah, it's the first time where we are doing it. And I'm really excited about it. This year we have so many things in the loop, and this year is also something special because we started a bootcamp experience. So this is the first time when we are actually including transformation within the summit. That means that we have people coming and teaching master classes throughout the weekend, and you can be still part of it. If you would like to check out how does it work, just go to the globalempowermenthub.com website, and then you can check out how you can join us. It's an easy busy. Every Sunday we will be here with two different coaches, and the two coaches will do 2 hours master classes. It's always on a Sunday, and you can either come and join us individually per masterclass, or you can buy the bundle, which is supporting the speakers and supporting the vision of the hub. If you would like to see what's inside, then let's just check out the video where you can see the actual masterclasses and the titles. And we are also having hidden in the different videos and the interviews that we are having some special promo codes that you can use for buying the individual classes with a code with 50% off. So make sure you are watching us because it's worth it. We are empowering people by giving high ticket coaches for a very affordable price. And this is the first year we are trying something like this. And many of the coaches already sponsored someone to join in. And I'm really happy that this community is really stepping into change. So the idea behind this is that the tickets are empowering. There's an empowerment feature. That means that you can empower someone else to come with you. So it's something that I'm experimenting with in the last few years. I got to know a lot of people, and everyone was saying that, yep, we cannot afford summits with speakers, and we cannot afford high ticket coaches. And then I started to think about, okay, let's make a system where it's possible. So here you can sponsor someone else who cannot afford it, and they can come on board and they can also join with you. And that is something that I would like to try this year, and let's see how it goes. So for this evening, what we have left is we have Junaid Ahmed coming very soon. So if you don't know how to set up your home studio, if you don't know how to stream and how to make a space for yourself, which is convenient, which you can have different camera angles and which makes you feel very convenient in your remote work, then please join us in around 10 minutes because Junaid will talk about his studio, which is amazing. He showed me already the backstage, and he will show us different views of his studio and the technology behind. And he also has some kind of a kit, which is kind of imitating a professional studio. So I'm really, really excited about this one. And we have something very special also from 9:30, because 9:30 tonight, we will have an open panel discussion, first time ever. I had this idea 2 years ago because we are always talking one way, right? It's always speakers coming, we are talking, you are listening. And I was thinking, why cannot be there something like an open discussion where you open a topic and everyone outside can join us? So tonight at 9:30, if you would like to be part of a panel discussion, you can. So if this is the first time you are speaking, don't be afraid. We are very friendly and we are very beginner friendly. A lot of speakers started with us in the last 3 years and built out their speaking career, basically. So what will happen at 9:30, I will open the doors and then I will put a StreamYard link into the comments. And whoever would like to be part of tonight's panel discussion, which is about the future of business growth, then you can click on that StreamYard link and I will let you into the studio and you can be part of tonight's panel discussion. So this crazy idea is also an innovation which was born 2 years ago when someone was asking me, I would like to jump on the stage, can I? And then I found this opportunity in StreamYard and you can bring people up to the stage. So let's do that. So from 9 o'clock, we will have Junaid, and after 9:30, be here and be part of our panel discussion. And until then, I would like to show you something that a lot of you who are already watching me for a while know that we were working on something in the last months and in this beginning of this season is a fashion show and empowering models from all walks of life. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to my partner Anwar Faisal, who was actually the initiator of this project, but we started it together 3 years ago at the first Global Empowerment Summit when we were having our summit at MyTech as a hybrid summit. So I will show a video which is showcasing our first fashion show, and you will see later at the 5th week of this summit where we got and how we are handling 70 models nowadays, working with big companies and creating a place where every size, every race, and every walks of life of person can walk on a fashion runway, and we are creating a safe place for them to find their career, to find opportunities, and to figure out what they would like to do in the fashion industry. So let me show you this video, and then Junaid is soon joining us in the studio. So this is an initiative that was already born 3 years ago, and now today we can say that we are having 700 models under our care in our pool. They are independent models, and we are giving them opportunities together with my partner. And I'm so happy to be the partner of this initiative, because I can see how people can grow when you really groom them, how people can just flourish when you support them and give them the opportunity to learn and to grow. We created many opportunities, boot camps and jobs and possibilities for them to walk. We even have a lot of people who normally don't get opportunities, so shorter models and different sizes and shapes, because we believe that the runway belongs to everyone. People are wearing the dresses who are normal people, and we need normal people to see that they can also wear those things that are normally in the fashion world, just presented in a perfect shape. So this is something that I'm really excited about it. In the last few weeks, we were working on this, and right after that, I'm jumping into this conference, and I'm so happy to have more than 110 speakers with us. The conference will be for 5 weeks. This is the first day of the conference, and this weekend is all about business growth. Every weekend has a specific topic. So this week is business growth and startup growth, because we have a startup competition, the first one in Southeast Asia, a women startup competition that we are just starting with another partner, and we are growing it together. And we have the A3 Hub on board. We have ladies from Johor, and we have a lot of beautiful people supporting this project. And we will talk mostly this week about business growth, how you can grow your business, how you can grow with digital marketing. All the program is already on the website, so you just can scroll through the calendar. And we will also have startup specific questions and topics. Plus, we have the Sunday bootcamp. So if you are a coach, then go for the course creation course by Veronica Safwa. If you know Veronica Owusu, she is a very influential coach. She's working mostly on LinkedIn. I also have been one of her mentees, and I really love the way how she puts together a strategy for creating courses for people, and coaches really love to work with her. So she will do one of the bootcamps this Sunday. And we will have Roland. Roland is someone who is also leading a startup who just got angel investment from Singapore. And he will talk about how to pitch and how to pitch your company, your idea at a competition. And this will be also another 2 hours bootcamp this Sunday. So a lot of exciting things coming up. A lot of interviews with amazing people. How you can get most out of this conference is that listen, open a notebook, take out the book, write down your notes, write down the name of the people that you meet, write down ideas and inspiration that you just get from these different talks. And then right after that, don't stop there, but go to our website and search for the speaker and connect with the speaker. You will have the LinkedIn links of the speakers already on the website, and then reach out to them, ask their ideas about your ideas, build long-term connections, because you never know who will help you on your way, and you will never know who will be the one supporting you later. So all these conferences and speaking opportunities, all these summits are good things, but they can be better if you all in the audience make the most out of it. I will never forget my moment when I was going to the Edward conference, and it was a long conference with many tracks. If you have ever been to the Edward, it's worth to try once. You have like 3 tracks, 4 tracks, thousands of people speaking about digital marketers and everything what you need to make your marketing better. And I couldn't do it on the spot because, of course, you cannot watch 4 or 3 tracks at the same time. So what I was doing after the conference, I was sitting down for 2 weeks and I watched each and every session that I was interested in. And I reached out to each and every person that I was interested in. And some of them came to my summit already, and they were speakers on my platform. So this is how it works. This is how you have to make that part of the work. This is an opportunity straight in front of you, provided by me for the 3rd year, bringing many experts from all around the world. We have people from Guatemala, Costa Rica. We have people from the US, San Diego. We have here people from Europe. We have people from all over Southeast Asia. We have Africa. So if you cannot find an opportunity here, then you really need to work on it more, because this is what you get. You get a bunch of high integrity coaches, people, experts, business owners, investors, and then it's only up to you what you make out of it. Imagine how I started this summit 3 years ago. I didn't know the people, most of the people who are coming for my summits or the speakers who were speaking. And already at the first summit, I had 108 people just because I reached out to them. I built a connection and I asked them to speak. And then the next year, it became 220 speakers for 6 weeks. We were online and I was live broadcasting for 7 days a week. So it's always about hard work. You cannot really skip that part. It's very important that you make these extra miles and you really figure out what you really want to do and you fight for it. And now we are here at the 3rd year. And we also have, again, 110 speakers and a different approach. And the community is growing. And yeah, we are just growing. The first time we will do the NFT certificate. First time that I have the thoughts to pitch my idea next year, to create the book, to create an academy. So just as Nigesh said, the opportunity is there. What you need to do is just to figure out how you innovate and how you keep your idea alive and how you dream further and how you make it happen. So I'm thankful for you guys, and I'm really, really happy to do this summit again for the 3rd year, and I'm happy to share these experiences with you. And before Junaid is joining us, I will play one more of the videos, the short stories that I collected, and I hope you will like it. This will be about someone I also look up to. He is from South Africa, and I was really fascinated by his story, and I would love to share this with you before Junaid comes on board. So let's see one more empowering story. I will just share my screen again, and I will play the video for you from my computer. And here we go. We'll add it to the stream and enjoy the short video with our other guest who was already our speaker in 2020. So let's try.
Growing up in South Africa during the 1970s and 1980s was tough. We were forced to endure the pain of apartheid, but instead of breaking me, I think the situation helped make me. I was blessed with a loving, supportive, and kind family. My parents instilled good values in me as a youngster, and that helped mold the adult that I have become. I think spending the last 30 years in the broadcasting industry has been truly remarkable for me. Watching my home country, South Africa, transition to democracy, interviewing a clinical sociologist on my talk show, that was back in 1996, and then marrying her 178 days later was indeed life-changing. Speaking to icons like former President Nelson Mandela, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, all of those things during the course of my career helped shape the man that I am today. So with the benefit of hindsight, the 3 things that helped me find my empowered voice, my originality and my uniqueness, I would say 1, and this is in no particular order, the values instilled in me by my parents. 2, my intention to be authentic, always being honest, and to respect others, especially those who may not always agree with my opinion. And then 3, the desire to be good and to do good. 14th of May 2019, my beautiful, intelligent, inspiring wife, Mariam Sidat, was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was devastated, frightened, and concerned. No one can accurately describe the feelings and emotions that you go through, and I could only imagine what Mariam was thinking at the time. I made a conscious decision to be strong and courageous, and to be honest, not to let my fears confuse my thought process at the time. Working at the Durban University of Technology during the day and then hosting my talk show on Lotus FM, which is part of the South African Broadcasting Corporation, the SABC. I used to do my talk show at night. My work days were occupied, and I'd only get home after 9 o'clock at night, 4 nights a week. So whilst juggling these 2 demanding positions, I'd managed to make it work for a number of years. However, Mariam's diagnosis had changed everything for me. I decided that I have to dedicate more time, not just to be with Mariam, but towards my family. I'd missed far too many school events, speech nights, awards presentations, school plays, choir shows, all because I was on radio, when really being a family man at heart, I wanted to make my heart happy, and that was to be with my wife and my son. So after 30 years of radio, I made the big decision in March this year to formally retire from South African radio, and I left Lotus FM as I wanted to spend more time with Mariam. Last year was a wake-up call to me, and I said, as opposed to investing my time and energy in radio, I should invest my time and energy into the most important part of my life, and that is my wife and my children. Well, I'd probably say stay 18 so you avoid paying tax and you can have fun and do all the great things in life. But as you know, life doesn't work out like that, and each year comes an extra candle on the birthday cake. So if I had to go back and chat to my 18-year-old self, I would probably tell him, firstly, it's important to always stick to your principles, especially when you are challenged. Secondly, it's okay to make mistakes, provided you learn from them. And third, and I think most importantly, would be exercise, eat well, take care of your body, and follow a low-carb eating plan. Yes, I am. This is my empowered voice.
Well, this was the beautiful story from Alan Khan, who was already here with us 3 years ago when this whole summit started. And I'm so happy to see him again through this video provided by James, who was one of my partners who was helping me to prepare it. And I see Junaid in the studio, so I will bring him up. I see his smiling face and his beautiful studio, so let's bring him on the stage. Hi, Junaid, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was just having a nice memories from the past, from 3 years ago when we started this whole summit, and it was just great to see the familiar faces again.
I know, that was a really nice video. Thank you. I got to see a little bit of it.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I know you are a family man, so
Absolutely. Lucky for us.
Get into the chase.
Absolutely happy to be here.
Yes, I'm happy to have you too, Junaid. I would like to start the conversation by just like warming up a little bit. So how was your day, or how is your day? Because we are in the different places of the world.
Absolutely. So it's 9 a.m. here in the eastern coast of the United States. I've been up since 4 a.m. working on some of the things, because you got to get your day started. The earlier you get day started, the faster you're able to get productive, right? So that's something that I have practiced and has helped me move up pretty fast.
That's true. You have this 5 a.m. book, I remember. I wanted to try that, but because I'm like really burning the candle and I'm really like someone who's always active, I have to go to sleep and I need to sleep enough. So yeah, I need more than that. But I'm at 6:30 nowadays, so it's kind of like getting closer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So happy to have you in the studio, and you have a specific topic tonight, and we brought you because you have the most amazing studio, and we will talk about this because the whole summit is around digital transformation, and as we are like, my home is full of these feed balls and all these things. The other side is full of different monitors and lamps and all my homemade tables.
Yeah.
And actually, that would be nice if I would have your stack and I could just show mine.
I know, you just show around your room. So what's going on?
That would be a crazy comparison. So with my books and all the things I was showing Junaid what I have at home. So it's totally different. But let's just introduce you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about where are you from? What are you doing? How did you end up doing it? So tell us your story.
Absolutely. Thank you, Andrea, for bringing me on. So I'm from Pakistan. I was born and raised there, but then pretty soon I was living in Saudi Arabia, where I did my high school and all my studies. After graduating from high school, I moved to California, USA. Lived there for a long time. Got married, had a kid, then we moved to Colorado, and for the past 10 years almost, we've been living in the East Coast in Virginia. So I'm like a lot of technologists and a lot of gadget lovers. I'm a technologist. Uh, I love gadgets, cameras. I've been assembling and taking apart computers at a very young age, and I've I'm now take apart people's studios and their setups to help them figure out what's the best way. Being passionate around technology, I got introduced to a lot of different things, anywhere from cameras and lenses to gadgets that help your life move forward. For example, the introduction of the iPhone totally changed the face of the earth, face of tech, uh, devices that we started using. Immediately, we had other competitors trying to create devices similar to the iPhone. What it did is it totally changed how we look at technology. Now, as visionary, and the only way you become visionary is when you start solving your own problem, when you start looking at the future, looking at sci-fi books and movies and see, can we make these sci-fi tech a reality? Essentially, what the iPhone enabled us to do was to put away a lot of the other things that we carried with us and made a lot easier. That was around 2015 where I got to start using my iPhone as a video camera because it now had the capability to record 1080p video. There was a short video going around where um, they mounted the iPhone on a model train set, and as this model train set went through the entire set, the train yard, it looked really cool. And then to be able to edit videos directly on the iPhone was really inspiring because before that, you would have to have a computer, you would have to have different ways to edit video in non-linear fashion and whatnot. But with the introduction of the iPhone and the power that it had, it totally changed. I was very inspired by this. It was until 2014 my brother-in-law and I, we went to this off-roading trip. We had this off-road truck. I used my iPhone 5S at that time and along with a wide-angle lens that attached to my phone, and I shot video of us driving around. I edited this. I edited this. I edited 4 hours of video down to 7 video, posted it on the YouTube, and it got 35,000 views. And I was like, wait, this is pretty inspiring. So what I started doing is I started teaching people how to do mobile video production because you don't need anything else. You just need your phone and need to learn how to use the capabilities of it. And one of the things that's really important around it is that this space that you record videos in. Now, I wanted to shoot a course back in 2018 to teach people how to record video on the smartphone. Now, mind you, the video that I had shot was more of a documentary thing, and I know I'm probably going way past the intro into my passion.
That's how
But
a techie
that's
started
how
coming out.
that's how it goes, right?
No problem. I think everyone starts like this. If someone is so passionate as you are, it's no problem. But it's all starting with some ideas, and it's all
Yeah.
starting with how you can innovate around. And we are just continuing a conversation that we had with Nigesh about tipping points and innovation. So it's really, really good alignment for the talks tonight.
100%.
So you have all these. You already know how to coach people. You wanted to coach people to use their mobile phones, but then, this big thing happened. We got stuck home, and then new ideas came along the way, right? So what was the
Well,
new idea?
well, what's beautiful is that I got lucky, or I don't know if luck's the way, but for the past decade, I've been creating I've been shooting movies and short films and documentaries with other groups of people. And all of this time, I've been behind the camera, meaning behind the camera shooting the video. And that's what I did in 2014. I was behind the camera taking video of this car going over these hills and mountains and whatnot. But when it came down to for me to record this course around mobile video production, I was like, all right, I've got all the gear. Let me set this studio space up in my basement. I got my cameras. I got one of my cameras on the slider. The other camera was in front of me. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. I hit record, and I'm standing in front of the camera, and I don't know where to start. I was like, I already have this. How do you start a video? How do you start talking to on a video? I had no clue. But luckily, I was like, you know what? This can probably wait. Let me go back on and work on myself to be better in front of the camera. So 2019 went by, 2020 came in, and we were all stuck at home. And I'm like, all right, now that I have the time to set up my space, we were spending a lot of time on Zoom. I ended up using my equipment because I'm watching Pat Flynn do daily live videos, and I'm like, wow, how is he looking so good? What is he doing? What is he doing? I'm looking for the how, and he ends up sharing a blog post. Hey, this is what I'm using for my studio. This all equipment. And I look in my closet and I'm like, wait, I have all of that equipment he's talking about. I can set up my setup, my studio space. I end up setting up my studio space. And as I'm doing all of this, I've been creating podcast content. I've been recording podcasts. I've been interviewing guests on my podcast. The more I talk to them, the more I'm aligning things up of how to tell stories. I'm listening to people tell stories. After interviewing over 400 guests on my own podcast, I was like, okay, I got it. I know how to start my videos. I know how to write a script. I know how to do all these things. I can now create that course. So, boom, I was creating this. I was creating videos. I was creating content. I was making it happen. And that's where I ended up creating my studio space, looking the professional quality that you see. And people started asking me, hey, can you help me set up my studio? I want to do this, this, and this. This is what I got. So I was like, yes, I'd love to help you.
I love the story, and I just want to say hi to all the people watching us. Hi, Udumna. Hi, Elchan. Hi, Christian. Hi, Embreen. So nice to have you all here. And yeah, the techie is already playing. So let's show around all your functionalities. Because I think that's the exciting thing in this interview. I was telling that if people come tonight, they will see a lot of show around and a lot of tricks and tips. And I just want to share this with the people.
Absolutely. Give me 1 second while I set up one of the other things. So I've got, let's see. I know what's on here.
I'm already amazed. I want to do this next year. So cool. Alchan was asking you in the meantime one question about something very specific and technological about DSLR to film a good movie or high resolution video, but I cannot answer this. So if you are back, then you can answer him. And then we also have...
I'm back.
Yeah, so Alchan was asking you this question. Don't you need a DSLR to film a good movie or a high-resolution video?
That is an excellent question. And the answer is no. So what does a DSLR video do? What does a high-end resolution camera does? It gives you more pixels. Now, there are movies and films available on Netflix that were shot on iPhone 7s and iPhone 8s. And the latest iPhone actually has the capability to do a 4K Dolby approved video with cinematic mode, high-end audio because it has multiple microphones. So no, you don't need a DSLR to shoot films anymore. It's now all about the story. It's about the message that you send out into the world.
Yeah, we have one more question, which is very technical again. What's the best way to clean the phone camera? Something because of your phone background and that you started to work with the phone.
Absolutely. So one of the best things to clean up the background with your phone. What do you? I need more details on that question.
Is it technically the phone camera? You mean
the actual camera piece? You want to make sure
piece?
that you're using a microfiber cloth, same cloth that you use to clean your glass lenses, because it has the it has those micro distractions, and it'll help you clean that camera and capture even cleaner footage.
Nice. I will wait with the next question. I would like you to go on with your
All right,
presentation.
so this is what my studio space looks like from behind. This is what I see on a daily. This is my main shot that I use on my camera. Then this is my side camera. This is so I can move it around and show the people what they see. Usually this one will go back and forth, but today I just don't have it set up yet in that fashion. And in my studio, I also have a microphone that captures really high quality audio. Now, remember, guys, one of the most important thing in your video is audio. Because if I muted myself and I start talking, what's going to happen? You're like, what's he saying? I want to know what he's saying, because it's the message that you deliver. It's how you deliver the contonations in your voice, the feeling that you deliver to your audience is much more powerful than the video itself. So for example, if I were to turn off my video, or turn down what my studio looks like, simply go to, hold on, where's my scenes? If I simply said, hey, this is just my main lightings when I'm working in the studio, but if I continue to talk in here and you can hear me properly, guess what? You're still going to pay attention because you can hear my voice. The extra lights, yes, they help. They build a brand, they set up a stage, but it is not necessary for the message. It's all about the audio. And if you remember, when Charlie Chaplin started creating videos, those were just really fast-paced videos, and then what they put on top, it'd be a comedy skit, but then he would put this funny music on top of it, and that music is what brought the whole video together. So it is very important that you make sure that your audio is very well heard. Now, the cool part is that our smartphones have really good microphones. You just want to make sure that there's no extra sound coming along. So pay attention to that when you're creating content. And here's another one. The only way that you're going to get any traction on your videos is if you have any.
That's so well said.
It's so important. People talk about, I want the best video ever. Where's your bad videos? Right? So you want to make sure that you get started, no matter what level you are, no matter what equipment you have, just start practicing and talking to the camera, talking to the people. Talk to that one person that really loves you, that really wants to talk to you all the time. Bring them on a video chat, just like Andrea's brought so many amazing people to her Global Empowerment Summit since 2020, right? You've brought so many people, and you've built that capacity of telling stories and being that amazing host that you are. because it's all because of the practice. I know we're
I
going kind
remember
of off topic, but
the first year I was humming in the background. I was
Mhm.
like waiting for the next thing, and I was like, and I rewatched the videos, the live stream, and my humming was on the video. So it's still
Maybe
there.
people thought it's background music.
You can start. I was enjoying the background, all the marketing videos, and I was singing with them. And then I watched the video, and I was like, "Who is this girl singing?" And I was like, "Oh, that's me."
Oh my god, that's too funny.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions coming in, so
Yeah,
let me just
let's
start with
jump
the
in.
first one. I think there was one from Uduma is very curious. So, how long should a phone camera be in use before changing it? Is there anything like a best before for a phone camera?
So this all comes down to your experience. For example, let's say you want to start biking. Are you going to go buy the $10,000 bike? Or are you going to go buy the $300 bike from Walmart or get a store? Or maybe even a used bike? Because it all comes down to your experience with the activity that you're doing, right? You start building up that experience. You start building up that confidence. You start building up the proficiency in that space. When you start drawing or coloring or painting, do you go buy a canvas and these paints? No, you start with a pencil and a paper. You start small, you start uh, putting those things together. And as you do that, you're like, okay, I've already leveled up from this. Let me go to the next level. Just like in school, when we're studying mathematics from in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, they're not gonna start you with algebra or geometry. No, they're gonna start you with addition or even counting numbers. So think of it as an experience that you build up on top of it. So start with your phone, and you'll know exactly when it's time to move up to the next.
To change to a better one or a bigger
Mhm.
one. Exactly. Ambrin is asking about the microphone. We already talked about the microphones. I remember last time when we
So the
met that
microphone
it's
that
very
I
important.
recommend absolutely is I use a Shure MV7. It is a $250, $300 investment, but it makes me sound really good. It's very simple because it connects USB directly to your computer. Now this one is designed to work with a computer, but if you want to use something with your smartphone, then you would want to get a lav mic, a wireless lavalier mic that you can pick up for anywhere from say $50 to $150. Again, there's a ton of options out there. Um, Use anything that's going to give you a dynamic range in audio, because the microphone that comes with the phones, the built-in microphones will has a much more dynamic range, but again it'll capture everything around you. It all comes down to how loud can you get without distorting your own voice, right? So you want to sound natural, as if I met you and this is how you're talking. So think about all
As
of those
close
things when you.
as close to reality as possible, right?
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Because if I'm talking in monotone sentences, and if I talk that way in real life, and when you meet me in person, then you're like, okay, this is the same guy. But if I don't, then we're like, okay, Junaid, you got to work on those videos because they sound nothing like you. Can you fix that?
We have one more question here. What's the best setting we should pay attention to before shooting with our phone in order to have a good video?
Oh
So I
man,
guess
I love that question because you want to pay attention to your surrounding. If you're looking at the sun and it's bothering you, guess what? It's going to bother the camera as well. So make sure that the sun is pointing at you and not at the camera, because you want to be well lit. You want to be well observed. The other thing you want to pay attention is how much in the frame are you. So the frame that you see that I'm in is more of a medium shot, probably a little closer to a medium shot, because I want to deliver a message to you personally. Pay attention to movies when you're watching. You'll see the different levels of shots that they take to connect the story. Now, in this shot that you see, we have Andrea and I sitting side by side. Now, I'm much more close up than Andrea because Andrea has a more wider shot,
Yeah, I love this.
right? And the reason it's a wider shot is because it's one thing. It's the different cameras that we have, but then it's also she's creating this space for you to come hang out. The yoga ball in the back invites you, like, hey, come have yoga
Here,
fun with me.
here.
Come sit over here with me and enjoy this experience. Whereas I am saying, hey, this is what I know, this is what I'm trying to teach you. And sure, I'll change the camera angle to give a different experience, but it's all because I'm set up for teaching a course on video production, on setting up your studio. So think about all those things as you're watching movies and TV shows. You'll see the different shots they're using. Watch television and look at what they're doing and try to replicate it. There's so many examples all over the place. All you gotta do is try.
Love it. Love the. We have a few minutes more, so I was thinking maybe you could show us the studio like you showed it to me before.
Of course.
The front and how it looks exactly, because I think that's a mind-blowing thing, that where you were starting and where you got and how you built up this whole thing before we close the conversation.
Absolutely. So when I first started, my room was turned around. I was actually facing, my camera was facing in this direction. That's a window up there. There's another window up there. Let me see if... And so my desk used to sit in that space where you see the bookshelf, and then I would be facing, my camera would be then looking at the windows. I didn't think about it because I wanted a nice view for myself, but I didn't think about using my space as a studio. But then the more I thought about, hey, wait, I need to turn this around, I literally flipped 180 degrees in my room and was able to create this studio space. So again, I spent a ton of time in building out this wall over here. It's a wood panel wall, and then I got inspiration from Pat Flynn because in some of his educational videos, he had a wood panel wall behind him. And then again, that's the wood panel wall that I put together. I also have some other views, especially if I'm showcasing, let's say, this box that I got the other day from this event I went to. So I have an overhead camera set up so I can show people of the different things I've got going on. Then I have another camera back here, which is showcasing a GoBox studio, which is a studio in a box that you can take your entire studio with you no matter where you are going.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Please reach out to Junaid. He is on LinkedIn. So the easiest way, I guess, is to connect with you on LinkedIn. Just say that you watched this video at the Global Empowerment Summit and you would like to reach out to him and learn more about videos. It's just so exciting. I'm heading over to another studio because the panel is a separate link. So I'm so thankful for you. Thank you
Absolutely.
for
Thank you so
Udumna,
much for your time.
Christian, and everyone who was asking questions. I think it was a great session, and I would love to do more. So I think there's so much
Absolutely.
more here.
There's
Yeah,
a
bring
lot
you
more.
back another
Yes.
week.
A truck full load of it. All right, take care, Andrea.
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you guys. We are heading over to the panel discussion, so I will see you very, very soon. Let me just play my video, and then I will be back in a second in another space.